am I okay? Am I okay? Because why did I cry 3 times reading this book? It's not even sad.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel and happy Sunday. I am back with such an exciting video. I am doing a series on my channel, which is Random Challenge Chooses My TBR, because I am such a mood reader, but I really love like TBR games. I figured the way I could incorporate these TBR games is through these little kind of weekly vlogs where I spin a wheel and a random challenge is selected, and that random challenge ends up deciding what I read for the week. This week I am blindly picking my TBR. I had a lot of fun filming this video. I ended up picking 2 books, which you will see my full opinions on throughout the video. But without further ado, I'm going to kick you back to me from like 2 weeks ago who started off this video. Am I looking rough? Yes. But some version of intro me actually got ready until you get this version of me. Hello, it is Monday. I have a meetings day, but I span the wheel for the challenge for the week, and the challenge is wrapped books, which I'm really excited about because I realized I've been looking for books, losing my mind. Like, I know I own that book. Where did that book go? I wrapped it up. And I forgot, just didn't occur to me that those books would be wrapped up and not directly in my face on my shelf. I'm going to look down this way and pick whatever is calling me. I kind of want the one at the bottom, which is really annoying of me, but I'm going to grab that one. You know, she fell over. It's fine. So I want this one. This is the book that I want. It feels like a soft cover. I genuinely have no idea what it is because when I wrap these books, I intentionally chose books that were the similar size to something else on the shelf, so I would never know what it was. So let's open this together and find out what the heck I'm going to be reading, and hopefully I'm in the mood to read that thing. Part of me wants to destroy the wrapping, but honestly, I could probably reuse it, so I'm just going to gently scoop the book out. Ooh, it's yellow. Is this the book I was looking for? Is this the book that I was looking for? It is. It is. This makes it seem like I'm cheating. I'm not. I literally have no care whatsoever which book that I picked, but I was looking for Georgie all along a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, am I losing my mind? Do I not own this book? Yes, I do own this book. It is Georgie all along. What this story is about, I don't know, but you and I are going to find out together, so I'm going to go ahead and read this and let you know what I think at whatever point I get into it. In this vlog, I really thought that I was going to read like 3 books this week, and it turns out I didn't do that because it's Thursday. And you know what? To be fair to me, I've been really busy. But I'm officially 50% of the way through Georgie all along, and I'm loving it. What I want to say is, if you were a person who loved beach read or you loved Get a Life, Chloe Brown, that's what this is. That's what this is. So, of course, in this book, we're following Georgie, and Georgie used to be a personal assistant to this really famous writer. But the writer decides, I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna go live my farm dream life over here, and I don't need you anymore. So Georgie, instead of finding a new job, decides, you know what? I've been helping everyone else, and I don't know what I want. When it comes to my future, my desires, and how I want to live my life, all I see is this blank, and it's giving her anxiety. So she moves back to her hometown to help her friend Belle, who is pregnant, and she's gonna help her out. So that she gets there, and Belle like has her whole life together, and Georgie's like, I guess you don't need me. So she ends up finding this notebook that she wrote when she was 12 or 13, about to go into high school, writing down everything that she wanted to do, and she's essentially scripting. And if you don't know what scripting is, it's when you write about the things that you want as if they already happened. So you just experienced that thing, and then you're writing down like what that day was like and what that experience was like. And that's what Georgie did when she was 13. And she's so impressed by this because it's the most time and dedication that she's ever put into something. And that version of herself had dreams and had visions and had things that she wanted to do for herself. So Georgie is trying to capture that energy by working on this list and doing these things now. Except that when she goes home, there's a man there because her parents also rented the house out and did not tell her. So they're forced to be roommates, and he's like this grumpy man from this town with a reputation, but he agrees to help her with the list. And what's impressing me about this so far is how strong each of their voices are and how well developed both of these characters are in terms of their past, in terms of what defines them, in terms of what motivates them, in terms of what they're afraid of and what their pain points are. It's really, really good. My one gripe with this book so far is that have I just not been noticing how long it takes for romances to get to the romances? Because I don't think that's true. There's plenty of romances where the romances happen right away, but for this one, it doesn't get romantic until well over 100 pages in. I'm appreciating the romance, but I'm not rooting for them to be together. It's like I'm happy that you're happy for now situation. So I hope that they fall in love, because I do really love Levi. I think he's such a fun character, and I really like him with Georgie. I just need more of their interactions together to really believe in the relationship. But also Levi has a pit bull that he rescued who is so freaking cute, literally baby. So I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to tell you what I think of it, and hopefully I'm going to finish this today so we can at least pick one other book for this vlog that's going up on Sunday, so hopefully you're watching this on Sunday. Hello, my loves. First, if the audio is different in this clip, I'm sorry. My microphone is giving me trouble, and I do not have the patience to deal with that. I've tried to get it to connect, and it won't. So instead, iPhone microphone is going to have to work. I want to give the update that I am almost done with Georgie all along. I have less than 100 pages left, and I'm really enjoying this. I think this is so cute. But I'm going to give you my full update when I finish the book. Instead, because I'm almost done with this book, I figured you and I could pick out the next book together. So let's pick out the book that's going to be the next and final book in this video. I can't pick a book that is really long. I would show you what I'm picking, but again, play to your strengths, not your weaknesses. If I pull out all of these books, I would not put them back. So instead, they're gonna stay where they are. So I'm looking for a book that's either gonna be fast-paced or on the smaller end. And there's a couple of options that could be smaller. So my two options are this one and this one. You can see they have a number in the back, but I don't know what that number means at this point. I purposely forgot. I just have a spreadsheet so that I know. Of the two, one is bigger, one is definitely smaller, and I should do myself a favor and pick the smaller one, but I'm feeling drawn to this one. I'm gonna pick this one. Okay, let's see what this is. I have like some ideas of what it could be, but I genuinely don't know because, as I mentioned earlier, I am very intentional about like when I made this, picking books that were the same size, but also completely forgetting which books were in here. This is a big old chunky, soft cover book. It's hot pink. Is this the serial killer book? All I can see is this little corner, so like I don't know what this is, but I'm wondering if this is the serial killer book. And if it is, that's not what I wanted to read. Oh, look at that! It's the serial killer book. Maybe I should have found the smaller one. But it's fine. I'm going to read Love in the Time of Serial Killers because the whole point of this series is that I'm reading books that I perhaps would not prioritize or would not get to soon enough. And these are just, I read what I get, and that's what's going to happen. This one is about a woman who moves in next to this man who she comes to believe is a serial killer, but this is because our girl is hella paranoid. I've heard very mixed things about this, and I will be honest with you. If I get 100 pages into the story and I don't like it, I will be DNFing and we will pick a different book, which may feel like cheating, but the whole point is that I'm getting through the books that are on my shelf. And even if I DNF a book in these videos, it just means that that book is not for me and I get to put it into someone else's household. Okay, it is a few days later and I have officially finished Georgie All Along, and I loved this. This was such a fun time for me. The fact that my nails match is a complete accident, but I really enjoyed this book so much. It was a solid 4-star read for me. I absolutely loved the relationship between Georgie and Levi, and I love the things that they were working through together. They both felt like such complete and developed characters with super distinct personalities and their own things going on in their lives, and I like the driving plot point of them trying to go through this list, but this list really just helping them figure out how they feel about their lives and their purpose and what it means to feel lost and what to do about it for their own individual circumstances. I really enjoyed this book, but it was a 4-star for me. Not because there was anything that was like really wrong with it. It's just I was happy for Georgie and Levi, and I was happy with their happily ever after. But to me, I'm like, do I think they're soulmates? No. Do I think they're happy together? Yeah. So I'm glad that this came up in this video. So I finally got the chance to read Georgie All Along. And yes, it will go on this shelf behind me, which is my favorite shelf. And on it goes. So then, as you know, the next book that I ended up with in this video is Love in the Time of Serial Killers. And you could see by my reaction, perhaps I was not the happiest to get to this. Not because I don't want to read this book, but because I had reservations about whether or not I would enjoy this book. And the basic premise of this one is woman's father dies. She goes to their house in Florida to get the house ready to sell, and she believes the next door neighbor is a serial killer. Now you might hear that and ask yourself, but Char, what's the plot? And I have to tell you, over 60 pages into this book, I don't know. Actually, I was reading the reviews, and I don't think there is a plot, actually, at all. I think it's just the basic premise. Woman believes neighbor is serial killer, but premise does not make love story. With that said, we're getting to the point now where she's trying to convince her brother and his soon-to-be fiance that she doesn't need them to live with them. And in fact, she's not super paranoid about all the true crime that she consumes. And no, she doesn't really believe that the neighbor is a serial killer, because would she go to his party if she thought he was a serial killer? So that's the point that we're getting to, and I really hope that we get to have more interactions between these two characters, because their interactions have been minimal. She's been very angry and very confrontational, and he's been nothing but nice to her and trying to help her with her task because he knows that she is grieving. I've heard he's boring, but I can't make any judgments of that because I've barely seen him aside when he's there to provide support and assistance to our main character. Now, what I also want to say about this FMC here is that she's suffering. And she's suffering not necessarily because she's unlikable, but because she doesn't feel like a real person. She doesn't feel like a fully developed character. She's dealing with a situation that's incredibly difficult. She's grieving the loss of her father, who died unexpectedly, but we don't see any of that. We don't explore any of her grief, and as the reader, you're kind of at an arm's distance. And of course, the way that she processes her grief is very complicated because of the complicated relationship that she has with her father. But it feels like you don't even spend any time alone with her in her head. You just experience her life through the really inconsequential moments. And for me to feel any connection to this character, I need to see the consequential moments. She is dealing with such a difficult situation, and I don't feel that whatsoever through this narrative, because we're not spending enough time in the main character's head, aside from when she's thinking about all her true crime knowledge and the fact that she thinks her neighbor's a serial killer. Which you might be wondering, girl, if all this true crime is making you paranoid, stop consuming true crime. And I will tell you, the author does address this, because our female main character is getting her PhD and writing her dissertation, and her dissertation is all about the true crime genre, which is why she is consuming so much true crime. She is not able to stop consuming true crime, even though it is to the detriment of her mental health and well-being. So I am going to continue with this. I don't have high hopes that it will be less boring, but I hope that when we get introduced to the male main character a little bit more in depth, that it will make the story feel not boring. But based on the reviews, that may be too high of an expectation. But let me get through at least halfway through this book, and I'll give you my next update. Did I just wake up? Yes. Is it wash day? Yes. But I have to work up the energy to get to that, so instead you're gonna get my rolled out of bed and put some pins in my hair. But I did officially finish Love in the Time of Serial Killers, and guess who's singing a different tune? Because my first update for you all was that I was kind of bored, but then my next update for you all, now that I finished the book, is that I really enjoyed this a lot. First, I switched over to listening to the audiobook, and I think that helped a lot. The audiobook, in my opinion, was really fun to listen to and really well narrated. And thank goodness my local libraries had a copy of the audiobook on Libby, so I could listen to this while I was coloring and painting. And I just want to center you in this story. Is there a plot? No. You should not go into this expecting there to be a plot, because the plot is they fall in love. And because this is a romance, that's totally fine. This isn't what you go to and what you read, or you're like, oh, I just want the most interesting story in the world. It's what you go to where you're just like, I just want a romance, and I want a book to listen to or read while I'm doing something else. That's what you go to this book for, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. I will admit that Phoebe, our main character, can definitely be a little bit annoying
But as I was reading that, I wanted to meet Phoebe where she was at, because the way that she acted and how she thought, and even as a reader, why we were at a distance from Phoebe's internal dialogue and the things that she was actually struggling with, is because that was the intention behind Phoebe. That's who she is as a person. So I take back that she's an underdeveloped character. I think she is a very well-developed character, but I think that she can be triggering for some people. Even I was reading this and I was like, how dare you mirror that back to me, Phoebe? How dare you? If you're a hyper independent girly, if you potentially have an avoidant attachment style, Phoebe is going to frustrate you. Phoebe, you're going to see yourself in Phoebe, and perhaps that will cause quite a few emotions for you, as it did for me, because am I okay? Am I okay? Because why did I cry 3 times reading this book? It's not even sad. Nothing sad happens. And yet I cried 3 times feeling this book. It's like the author just like took a dagger and it was like, you, and threw it straight at me. And I was like, oh my God, who asked you to see me like that? Who asked you to see me like that? But I do fully recognize that there are people who find Phoebe really annoying. But I did really enjoy this story. I'm giving it a solid 4 stars. And my critique here is that I loved Sam. He's such a soft boy. But the truth is, Sam is also a little bit of an underdeveloped character because we don't get to see him outside of the context of him being a system of support for Phoebe. I really wanted to see more of Sam's life. We don't really get to see that. He's an accessory in Phoebe's story, and this is not a happily ever after. This is a happy for now, which is totally fine as an ending. I still really enjoyed this. It made me very emotional. Yes, I did go start scream singing My Tears Ricochet after listening to this book, but I'm really glad that I got to it, and it can once again go onto my favorite shelf right behind me, which is now getting full. If you've been here for a while, you will know that my goal has always been to get this bookshelf to be entirely my favorites. I'm not there yet. We're like up to here, and the rest of that is like stuff I haven't read yet. But this is a lot of progress. These are all books that I've read, so I'm going to put this on here, even though this is very, very tight. She potentially doesn't fit on there, but I'm going to make it fit. Now, it is only 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, so I could read another book for this video, but quite honestly, the idea of trying to finish a book in a day when I have 3 other books that I'm trying to finish before the month is over. It is March 30th, so I'm really pushing it here. Gives me anxiety, so I'm going to end this video here with 2 more books down for this little challenge. I really enjoyed the wrap books aspect of this so much. It was really fun, and I hope that you had fun watching this video. I know it's a little bit on the shorter side, but I've got to think about timing for these videos in relation to my job. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to see you in my next video. Bye!